So what's going on, peeps? So it seems like all the Democrats up in arms now with that Signal chat leak or something is all over the place now. I mean, they're making a big deal of it. I think this is like the next January 6th, for them. They're probably going to be creating some kind of a committee, a bipartisan committee to look into that. Yeah, I know. January 6th. What is that about? I never really looked at it. It's probably someone, there was a mole or leaked the communication tool that they use. So that's what it is. TikTok or X. It says timely reminder that the same operatives who are blowing up the Signal group chat, quote unquote, leak, claimed that Hillary storing state secrets at a private server in her bathroom and illegally housing state secrets in his garage. It was no big deal. Yeah, no, didn't she like Blitch bit her information and all that stuff? That's not a big scandal too, but they're making it that this is the biggest scandals ever. But I don't know. I don't play around with that one. Gutfeld has actually had a good take on that one. Funny take on that. So I'm gonna keep going back and forth to X and then to Gutfeld. The reason being is sometimes they flag me, copyright me and all that stuff. But
prune juice on Taco Tuesday. The results. This messaging mess was like the aftermath of chugging prune juice on Taco Tuesday. The results are not great, but not surprising either. Since January 20th, so many great things have happened so fast. The borders closed, fugitives have been caught, egg and gas prices have plummeted, and Rosie O'Donnell moved to Ireland.
Isn't that great? I wonder who's going to follow her. Yeah.
It's killing the media, who hate all of it because Trump's doing it all. They're not used to a president who moves with such speed. They got spoiled by 4 years of a man who only left skid marks on his underwear.
Skid marks. Or, that depends. Adult diaper. I don't think he wears pants or...
So now they act like they really are dramacrats, each one elbowing out the other for the spotlight.
Oh, my goodness.
Meanwhile, we have bigger fish to fry. And when you have real goals, ones you decide to act on, you're going to make some mistakes. Yeah. Whether it's rescuing astronauts in space, running for public office, or delivering a baby at a restaurant because you told your date you were in medical school. Because there are goals and ideals.
Yeah.
A goal is what you set out to achieve. The ideal is the path and methods to achieve it. Is your goal to kill terrorists? Great. The ideal is to do it cleanly and decisively.
Yeah.
But it's called an ideal because perfection's unattainable. But we accept that risk. That's how winners live their lives. Yeah. You don't play, you don't win. Getting things done is risky. But you can avoid that risk by doing nothing, and that's not Trump at all. And Americans are okay with it, right, Harry?
I think sometimes it's important to do a little bit of reality check and take a little different spin at the numbers. I'm going to do that right here because all we talk about is how unpopular Donald Trump is. But in reality, he's basically more popular than he was at any point in term number one and more popular than he was when he won election back in November of 2024. How about NBC News? 44%. That's the highest since 2004.
They don't like that number.
The bottom line is the percentage of Americans who say we're on the right track is through the roof.
Yes.
Almost break his elbow. But anyway, that Signal thing, though, Trump was saying that I don't know if there's classified. There's no classified documents in there.
Well, that's what I've heard. I don't know. I'm not sure. You'll have to ask the various people involved. I really don't know. Mike Waltz, I guess he said he claimed responsibility. I would imagine had nothing to do with anyone else. It was Mike, I guess.
Ooh, all right. I saw that one. I thought it was real, or I don't know if there's any truth to that. But was that the he hired someone, some last name Wong, something like that, and I think that's the one that leaked to. That guy Goldberg, I believe. I don't know. There's so many things going on there. But then again, like Gutfeld was saying that we got bigger fry to fish, man. This is, they made a mistake. There's always got to be a mole. Always going to be leaked like that. The media and Democrats going to blowing this up blown out to this proportion and make a big deal out of it. But you know,
I don't know. I was told it was Mike.
Mike Walls.
But again, the attacks were unbelievably successful, and that's ultimately what you should be talking about. I think. You know, Mike.
No, he's talking about the attack to the Houthis.
He took responsibility for it.
Should his position over this?
Say it.
Should Secretary Hegseth consider his position over the signal?
Hegseth is doing a great job. He had
Mike Walls. I mean, if he took responsibility for, I mean, he should get fired or resign.
nothing to do with this.
He should.
Hegseth. How do you bring Hegseth into it? He had nothing to do. Look. It's,
Well, it's because they're media. They're going to bring everything in. You know, they're going to throw everything in there with Flynn kitchen sink. They already trying to crucify Donald Trump.
here we are
They were saying that they're putting they put everyone's lives in danger or something like that.
talking about some of the
Absolutely.
greatest business deals ever made. The greatest companies in the world are moving into the United States, and you want to ask about whether or not Signal works. I don't know that Signal works. I think Signal could be defective, to be honest
Yeah,
with you.
true.
And I think that's what we have to, because you use Signal and we use Signal and everybody uses Signal, but it could be a defective platform.
So
And we're gonna,
yeah, it sounds like I've never. I mean, I've heard Signal like a long time ago, like a couple of years ago or something like that when it came out. But I never knew it was used by the government. So that's their mistake right there. You know what I mean? They should have their own communication thing, and they should just move on.
No wonder the media is feasting on the Signal story like it's
They
a
are.
gazelle carcass at The View. What's left for them?
Yeah, because they're vultures.
When everyone loves Trump's aims, you go after the process. Oh, it's too fast. It's too sloppy. It's like they're describing my dream date with John Stamos. But not with old Joe. There were thousands of errors Biden didn't make as he presided over one giant deliberate act of negligence. It was all Joe could do to get out of bed in the morning. If this guy put his shoes on the right feet 2 days in a row, the legacy media would have orgasms. I wonder if it's something that should have been done by Sleepy Joe Biden.
Maybe.
this is something that should have been done by Sleepy Joe Biden, but he was asleep at the wheel, other than when it came to stealing money, of course.
Amen. Meanwhile, the same outraged media you see now were the very same who covered up Joe's mental decline. Biden was an expert at not doing things. He didn't close the border, which was too much to ask from a guy who refused to do the same thing with his bathrobe. He didn't reduce crime or inflation. Hell, he increased both. He didn't get creepy men out of women's locker rooms. Instead,
He actually hired some of this, mentally unstable people.
appointed them to high office.
Yeah, look. But going back to that Signal thing, though, the official
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director
claim
Gabbard, were there any
Signal's chat
sources described
leak
in the
did not
Signal
contain
chat?
sensitive information.
No, Congressman.
Were there any methods described in the Signal chat?
No.
Were there any locations?
No.
Therefore, due to the fact that there were no sources, no methods, nor locations described in the Signal chat, it does not make the discussion classified. Is that correct?
That is up to the Secretary of Defense determination.
The Democrats are obviously making the assertions that what was in the Signal chat was classified and claiming that Secretary Hegseth put this war plan out to the world, which he clearly did not. Were there any names in the Signal chat?
No.
Any targets?
No.
Any locations?
No.
Was there a unit name or location of that unit?
There was not.
So this
Were
is
there any
nothing.
routes described in the Signal chat?
No.
Wouldn't an operational plan contain that type of information?
Every operational plan I've ever seen has contained that information.
So this is nothing but, what do you call that? Who was that guy that said that? Nothing burger. Nothing burger. Yeah. Back to Gutfeld.
Perhaps we were lucky he ignored so many problems. I mean, look at the damage they did while doing absolutely nothing. Can you imagine what the country would look like if they actually tried? Instead of capturing terrorists or deporting gangs, Joe just shrugged his bony shoulders and said, well, what can you do? Before collapsing on the beach 8 hours a day.
Oh, man.
So
He loved that. He loved going to the beach, man. Look at him. I mean, he's getting all that tan, and he loved that. While everyone's like doing it for him. That's why there's so many things that he's probably done. So many things that they think they have accomplished that that he's not aware of. You know, just like those signing the pardons and all that. Those are used by the auto pen. So I'm pretty sure he's
the next 4 years, you're going to hear
recollection of
about
that.
mistakes because Trump's aims are so dead on. All the angry media has left is process. But you know better. We dig a leader with great aim who'll take a risk on America's behalf.
Yeah.
Not a guy whose aim failed the country, but also the toilet.
But he was on the other day though. He was just, what's it, like a couple days ago? Then he was saying he's back in the game or something like that. He's gonna help people, or he's gonna do whatever he can to help the Democrat. You know, put the Democrat in office again. But they have like AOC and Bernie Sanders, I think, in the forefront. They're running good numbers. But Kamala Harris and all that, I don't know. I mean, if she's going to be the the number one pick for the Democrat presidential election in 2028, would she take Tim Walz as her running mate again? If I was her, I'll pick a different person, different idiot. I would pick a different idiot.
When fighting the radical
rabble. Who's this?
Human rights lawyer Brooke Goldstein.
Oh, okay, Goldstein. I've never seen her.
He used to do crack. Now he looks like someone who used to do crack. Comedian Rich Voss.
We all know he's Jewish.
She's toured with the band.
Kennedy.
And read Ayn Rand. Host of the Kennedy Saves the World podcast.
You know what's Kennedy? I remember Kennedy back in the 90s. This is like when I was like in high school. And she was like the VJ for the MTV VJ. She was young then, but she used to wear that glasses too back in the day.
And like a game of bridge,
Tyrus.
old ladies like to do them once a week with friends. New York Times bestselling author, comedian, and former NWA world champion Tyrus.
Old lady thing. Tyrus, I used to watch him in the NWA. He was a champion, you know. He used to be bigger than that.
Brooke, I made a decision today. I gave this story 24 hours, and I said, that's all you deserve. This is all you deserve from a media that spent 4 years covering up incompetence and lack of security to then lecture us that there's a breach in security and there's incompetence. Them.
Well said, Greg. Well said. But we both know that this is going to drag on and on.
Oh, but it's not just dragging out. I'm pretty sure, like I said, they're going to have like bipartisan committee to take a look at that. They're going to spend the rest of their whatever time in D.C. and in Washington just to trying to put Trump down.
Okay,
Yes.
because that's all they have, like you said in your intro.
Goldstein.
Obviously, this is not good. Is it being blown
This is
out of
Jewish.
proportion?
This is Jewish.
Absolutely.
Goldstein.
Is this an example of a narcissistic journalist putting himself at the center of the story?
Yeah.
Absolutely, because there would be
Yep.
no security breach if he had done the right thing. If you see yourself, you're on the wrong thread, you should point itself out. You
Is that
should
Goldberg?
flag it and take yourself off. And he claims to care about national security, but instead he puts himself at the center of the story and he blows it out of proportion and risks our national security by publishing the thread. To me, it is so obvious that it's a diversion from what we all have to be doing, which is thanking President Trump for making the Middle East more peaceful.
The thing is, they can't find anything on Trump. You know, they're waiting for something like this. They're waiting for something. They're waiting for President Trump's administration to slip up. And this is nothing but a slip up. Nothing but a slip up.
And safer. We're not able to have any of our shipping ships through the Suez Canal or the Red Sea for over 2 years. That is unacceptable.
Wow.
It's unacceptable
Yeah.
that the Houthis were taken off the terror list. Trump carried out an excellent attack, carried out the mission to perfection, and that's
Yeah.
what we should be talking about right now.
It's funny, Rich, what you're wearing. Have you ever used the Signal app to chat with your bookie?
No, here's the thing. I'm on the run right now. Doesn't Biden look like Fire Marshal Bill in that picture?
Wait. Fire Marshal Bill, a little bit.
So I don't like the group chats, any of that, because I'm old. I don't want to apologize to more than one person. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I always screw up. I, by accident, sent my mom nude pictures. Okay? Thankfully, she's been dead for 10 years, so she didn't get them.
Oh, man.
Ew.
So,
Jesus, Craig.
Wait, did I embarrass you?
Which is hard to do as long as I've been on this show, but calling him stiff and his mama stiff is fighting words where I'm from, so I'm just,
well,
I'm just saying.
Well,
Talking about my mama, I gotta cut you. So.
but it's a lie. I'm not stiff.
Oh, man.
Kennedy, this is a family show. I wanted to remind you.
And I'm someone's
Adam's
mom,
family.
and I can say Rich is not stiff. I checked in the green room. Part of the HR protocol.
What? How can we even? Okay, let's even take Goldberg. He's the boy who cried wolf. 2 hoaxes: the Russian hoax, the losers hoax about Trump saying. So why do we have to listen to any of these people?
Because he's desperate for clicks. That's the only thing he is doing here.
Yes, he is.
Trying
That's that him?
Raise the
Wait, is that him? Yeah, that's him.
profile of the Atlantic, and he thinks. You know, I was talking to my domestic partner today. Who said,
What's her name?
Patty, thank you. So Patty and I were talking. It's a male, but my brother says that whenever I say domestic partner, I sound like a lesbian, which is fine. I'm an ally and I don't judge.
And those are lesbian glasses, by the way.
Do you know how many times a week I get called sir? At this point, I just given up. Like, if I don't get misgendered,
I can't
feel
tell
offended.
if you look like Rachel Maddow or Chris Hayes or their bastard love child.
That actually would make everyone soft just thinking about the two.
Yep.
All right, so that's Jeffrey Goldberg. That's what I was talking about. I know the last name's Goldberg. Jewish.
What were you saying?
What the hell were we talking about?
I have no
I
idea.
was hoping it was Goldberg the wrestler.
Yes.
I was hoping it was Jeffrey Toobin.
Yes.
At least it would make the story a little bit more exciting.
Wait, why is it Goldberg's in? You mentioned Goldberg, the WWE Goldberg.
A doughy knob.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Say, this is the greatest security breach of our lifetime. It's like, what? You don't remember Afghanistan?
Yeah, you-
Like,
Yeah.
you don't remember 9/11?
Yeah.
That is so disingenuous.
No,
like, he needs
that-
Ozempic and a brain transplant.
Yes. Tyrus, when you look at that montage, you realize that they're desperate and they're pathetic, and we
They
get
are.
it. But God, they're
The thing is, I don't even watch him, man. I mean, I see clips in him here and there, but I don't pay attention. I don't pay attention to the left-wing media. I go straight to X. You know, if I see something, I go straight to X and see what it's about. You know, I do my own research. That's how I do it.
Cut back on the F words.
I just can't. Yeah, you know. I'm with you. I'm with you. Like they, man. You know, like, what? He's so. Is it Goldberg? Is it?
Yeah, Goldberg.
That's the one.
He's so stupid.
Yeah.
Like you had an inside track. You could have been the greatest war correspondent ever.
Yes.
Just shut up, wait till it's over, give critiques. Like he had an inside track.
Yeah, if he
He
did,
was
he did.
literally to catch a Republican.
Yeah.
He had
To
the
slip up.
TV show
Yeah.
set up, and he jumped in on the wrong. It's like you set up the whole catch a predator. The guy comes in like, sir, what are you doing? Are you here to see the 13-year-old boy? No, I'm his father. I live here. All right, get the camera crew in the van. Let's go. Let's go, guys. He blew his wad on a no story. The only thing that would make that stuff better was at the end, Pete started asking everyone where they're going to eat lunch. You know, like, but I just wonder, maybe it'll be by like next Monday when they're still having panels over this, when they decide that
definitely
this was worse than January 6th.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can see them already talking about that. You know, they already comparing it to like the greatest slip of the U.S. administration history. You know, but again,
like that will be their next move. But like, yeah, this again, Will Kane on the Will Kane Show destroyed them today.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey,
Will
click here.
Will Kane or something like that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up. But oh well. Anyway, this is it for today. Just look it up, guys. So Signal thing, that is nothing burger. Later.